Nice.
That's right. Welcome back to the Head Check Podcast, episode something or other.
It's 173.
Yeah. We are your hosts, starting with this white guy. It's Chris Trott.
Hello, white guy. I'm Ross.
I'm Alex Smith. Today is the 9th of August 2024, and we're joined by some young seagulls on our roof.
That's right.
They're in the
They are
background.
nesting.
You may hear them. You may not. I don't know. I think these mics don't really pick them up that well.
I
But
hope
we
not.
hear them, and they are annoying.
Lots been going on this week.
Oh, yeah.
For
What
us,
happened, mate? What happened to you?
For you, for me, for the world, all sorts. So much.
Oh,
I can't even begin to
it's
list
because
it.
you've been bloody going out rioting.
I've been
You've been putting on his
Were
riot
you one of
gear.
those four in Brighton?
I just fucking hate shoe zones. all right?
Shoe zones
I have
got
a
burnt
problem
down.
with shoe zones.
It's a whole zone of shoes, though.
Yeah, I know it's a
What's
zone.
there to
of
hate?
Huh?
What's there to hate?
Well, I thought it was a D&D spell.
Shoe zone. Oh, my shoes are dissolved in this 20-foot cube.
I'd like
Yeah.
to cast shoe zone, please.
Speaking
That's
of
a fail.
roleplay,
It's a fail.
we have been doing Crockman recently.
We've been
We're in
recording
the set of it again.
some Crockerman. We're still on the set, yeah. So if
Yeah.
you are watching this, you get to see what that set looks
Do
like.
you reckon they want to know how many we've done?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
At this point of Hat Chat, we've recorded 4 episodes worth,
That's pretty
plus a session 0. That's right.
good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Lots in the can and lots to be edited.
Exactly.
For sure.
Do we have
But,
a launch date yet? Do we agree on a launch date?
I'm not going to say anything about that.
we're
Let's
not
not
gonna say
discuss
it
it any further.
We won't discuss it any further. It's still TBC.
But you won't have to wait too long, is all I'm going to say.
That's right.
That's it.
That makes it difficult.
But yeah,
to
it
promote,
will
but
be
we-
if you're enjoying our audio Hat Chats, for example, and the sound of diegetic
Just
seagulls in the
dying
background.
birds. I don't know what's going on. We're just hearing squawk.
So they're literally nesting on our roof.
Yeah.
There will be this series will be very audio friendly, as in you'll be able to listen
Oh,
to it
There'll be a podcast for it.
without the visuals, and it'll be fine.
Very
Yeah.
good. Very
That's
good.
good.
That's
And it's been really fun. So
It
far
has.
as well. We had a guest as well. We're going to have more guests.
yeah. We're having multi
So
guests.
get excited for it.
Yes.
Well done, everyone.
And we avoided the riots, did we?
Yeah, I mean, to be
You
honest,
caught up in
like
it?
they
Did you
were
get
in
caught up
central, they were quite near Yog Towers. But no,
What
it's
were
all
these
been
bloody
contained.
The first time. Because the second time they weren't really riots. They were literally just the fact that it was counter-protesters.
Oh yeah, filling up
On Wednesday.
Old
We're
Market.
going to need some context here, guys.
There's
Right.
been some well, unless
That's a
if
good point,
you're one
yeah.
of the people that live outside the UK and you haven't heard about various riots, yeah, I think is how they're calling them, right? Riots. I mean, it started off as a misguided protest in seemingly it's far right groups have come out to seek reprisals for wrongly interpreted information regarding a tragedy that happened in the UK. I think is probably a
Then it-
surmisation.
But then it got out
Then
hand.
it just turned into people smashing shit up.
Opportunists.
They
Yeah, and
destroyed
it kind
the
of all got
Gregs.
mixed in with like racism, anti-immigration, but also just like destruction, violence. But honestly, it's been handled really well. I think that the police have done a
sorted
great
it out,
job.
didn't
People have done a great job in coming out in anti-racism.
Turned out in their thousands to
Yeah.
counter-protest these radicals
Yeah.
Thugs, these
that are just out to
Hoodlums.
be racists and
Yeah, and if
opportunistic.
nothing else, it shows that the vast majority of people want a stable and fair society. And the kind of people that often say, "Oh, we're part of the silent majority," are in fact not.
They are actually surrounded by bots. who
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that they're
absolutely,
friends
absolutely,
and are
yeah.
riling them up
Yeah.
into a fever.
Yeah.
Where it's like me and my 100 mates that I've met online are gonna take to the streets and riot.
Yeah.
It's just actually just me and
Yeah.
2 other blokes here.
oh, wait, where are the guys? that said-
Whoa.
The guys said they'd be here.
And
Where are those guys?
you know who's to blame, don't you?
The bloody
Russians.
internet.
It's the Russians, mate. It's the Russians and the Chinese.
It's always the
Tinfoil
Russians.
hats on. It is a podcast
Right,
with 3
okay,
white
okay.
dudes,
So
for
we get
example.
to-
But honestly, I think that this is a direct result of something along the lines of a destabilization campaign to create
I
these problems.
see.
It's something that the Russians specialize in. It's something that has been done during the 2016 election. It was done during the 2020 election
Cambridge
in the US.
Analytica.
It like in the US, both of those, like this is like destabilization tactics, I think, being used at a state level, like by states, using these platforms to create instability, to make
War
to
strategies
weaken
happening in the home.
strategies happening in the home.
War strategy happening in the home.
Well, yeah, it's yeah.
Why not get the local populace to fight each other?
Yeah.
And you don't even have to
Exactly,
invade.
exactly.
Did you guys see the clip of that far right dude who got hit in the head. I think I showed you it specifically. So he got hit in the head with a rock that bounced off of one of the riot shields.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah. And then he got hit in the
He was
nut.
holding his head, and then as he turned around,
Yeah.
a giant brick just slams into his cock and balls. And
So
he just,
basically-
he recoils over, and someone's like, "Fuck it hell!"
Yeah, yeah.
over the top,
Dumbass.
and he crawls away, just checking
Yeah.
for blood on his hands.
Yeah,
But that
Full
was
karma
quite a
there.
cathartic
it was.
brick throw, I suppose.
I mean,
and it was
yeah,
also
obvi-
from them. It was a friendly fire,
It's a friendly fire incident.
which
And it was
makes
just
it even
like,
funnier.
what are you doing? Obviously, nobody should be throwing fucking masonry around in the streets.
Yeah,
Like this
that's
is the other thing, and like I think this is another thing that like in the UK, the communication strategy from the government, from the police, has been really clever because like they're being direct in saying like no, you aren't, regardless of your politics, regardless of your emotion, regardless of your intention, you cannot go out and throw fucking bits of masonry around in public.
unless you're a bricklayer.
Wheelie bins on fire.
Yeah,
and
like
sort of crap.
it's mad. And so like when you see people like this getting hit by their own team because you know they're essentially okay with their mates throwing bits of bricks, it is kind of funny because like you brought this on yourself, you know. Like, but yeah, no, mad times. What's even crazier, by the way, and I've got a couple of mates who are in the police. The amount of work they're having to do. They're pulling like 14-hour shifts, you know, like 5 days a
Try and
week.
get ahead of it.
Like just like out there holding a shield that weighs like 20 kg for hours and hours and hours on end.
20
right?
kilos.
Yeah, these things are so heavy. So there's like a bunch of
I
different
thought it
kinds
was
of
just an acrylic sheet.
It looks like it, doesn't it? It looks very,
no, it's probably not 20 kilos. The full size ones are quite heavy, but the ones they have to hold with, like they're still heavy
So
things.
that guy in Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah,
That
they're a
one's
bit-
massive. That's
yeah,
a- that's a steel
those
shield.
those are the ones I'm thinking
That's
are like the really heavy
bulletproof.
ones.
Yeah.
So a lot of them, those ones they use in like Northern Ireland. You know, the ones that they can just like stand with,
Yeah.
and they create like a big
Yeah.
plastic wall.
Yeah.
A lot of them in the UK haven't been using those because
I think they're just projectile based rather
Yeah.
than like actual like bullets. They're not
Yeah.
bulletproof.
Oh,
or
of
anything
course,
like that.
of
It's like
course.
it's just literally to stop, you know, bits of half bricks.
But yeah, but all these
other
police are going to
masonry.
need holidays after this, right? Because
Yeah.
they've all been doing like
That's when you should
fucking
really hit the
crazy
streets.
hours.
I think that's what they're waiting for. They're exhausting the police and then striking when they're
I
at their
don't think
weakest.
so, man. I don't think so. I don't think this
Do you
will
think they're
happen
thinking
again.
about any of this?
I think that the people that got riled up by that same social media crap, right? The people who've not just in that moment as well, the people that have been primed over like several years now, like being sculpted by these outlets. You know, there's so many outlets and like there's so many levels, different levels of government where there's influence. Like especially in the US. I mean, like obviously Donald Trump is a Russian asset. Like it's like Marine Le Pen, is it? She was all about cutting off all aid to like something that came late in their thing was like, oh yeah, we're going to cut off all aid to Ukraine, by the way, which is just completely, you know, for Russia. Like all of these fuckers, they're all like, they've all taken Russian money and they're all like being propped up by Russian or Chinese social media campaigns, you know, like it's all these fucking tools. Like if you see how there's a really great TV show called the Comey Law or the Comey Rule, the Comey Rule, and it was about Comey, the head prosecutor in the US who was looking into Russian interference in the election during 2016. Basically, the one that got Trump elected. And in that it examines like, he got elected in 2012, was it? Whenever the first one was, but like essentially.
That's when the London Olympics was.
Yeah.
That's when the
I don't think it was then, but essentially like it's a really good show to show you also how like the Russians were essentially trying to get Trump in, and they used a lot of social media tactics to enhance that, and they almost couldn't believe their luck when they succeeded, you know, when they actually pulled it off. And it is because
he seemed quite surprised when he went originally.
Yeah, but anyway, we're looking great now, you know, like everything, like we obviously there's some tragedies and the riots that happened today, this week have been awful. But in terms of, you know, people finally seemingly waking up to the risks of this stuff, the effects this has, like now that these riots have happened and these people have kind of seen the public opinion of it, it's just like, what the fuck are you doing? You're not doing anything on behalf of those
Hit
kids.
by harsh reality.
Yeah, you're not benefiting those kids. You're not helping our country. You and your peers are just destroying things. You know, like this is another really great line from the recent in the US with Harris and Waltz, the new president and vice president candidates for the Democrats. They had a rally. And a really good bit of commentary I saw was Trump is getting mad because he sees their crowds and he sees America. He sees a representation of all of America, whilst he's now looking out at his crowds and all he sees is weirdos. And
I think he
it's
was
a bit
always
like
aware
in,
of that, though. I think that, but he tried to.
But he tried to
weaponize
legitimize it.
Yeah, he tried to use them
it.
as his weapon. Yeah.
Exactly. And now, thankfully, people are pulling back from that, and it's creating now a gaping chasm rather than a bridge to more. And that's really, really great news. So hopefully, I think our government has handled this crisis really well as well. I think they should have recalled Parliament, personally. They're all on fucking summer holidays still, yeah?
Yeah.
Keir's putting out the videos, but they're all on fucking summer holidays for 6 weeks. For longer than most people in normal jobs get off.
So just don't do. I mean, do they not do anything? They must do some stuff.
Yeah.
Bits and pieces.
Yeah. But
it's remote working, isn't it? Wake up at midday and cram it all in.
Is that what it is?
A couple hours.
Yeah. It is. I mean, yeah.
Do any dressing gown? Why wouldn't you?
Anyway,
it's government.
It's been a crazy couple of weeks, but I think it has actually, thankfully, shown the good side of people for once, as opposed to what we've been useful for the last 5 years.
Yeah, the turnout of counter protests has been quite nice to see for sure. If we were going to take any silver lining from people choosing to riot in the streets. So
it was quite upsetting to see. Well, I think it's just upsetting that there are people like that, but they're so just ignorant that they're willing to go and do those things, and then obviously then people pile on, and it's just very annoying to see, I suppose, especially in your own city.
When you're like,
oh, there are people actually doing that.
Yeah, stop breaking things, right?
Yeah, and it's like, what does that achieve other than more cost to them technically in the long run for the council, etc., and so forth.
Any funny news?
There is some funny, some weird.
What's funny?
Obviously, there was an update.
Hey, how about those people trapped in space?
Yeah, there was an update. There was an update on that.
Update?
So, astronauts on an 8-day trip may have to stay until 2025.
Oh,
we mentioned that last week about the fact that they were in space.
I hope they
they're still figuring it out.
Dried food.
Well, this is it. Yeah, I think they're
Rationing.
still figuring it out because they may have to wait there until February 2025.
Yeah.
I don't know how can they send resources up there for them if they run out? I'm guessing they can.
I reckon they do it on purpose. They self-sabotage so they can get some extra ISS time.
Well, I reckon they probably were a bit excited that they could do more, I suppose. But there's also probably a fear factor of when do I get to go back? Because
ISS.
we were talking about the sleep thing, weren't we?
Yeah.
Well, this can't sleep probably because of radiation and shit.
So I was listening to Mark Kelly's book. Mark Kelly was one of the potential vice presidents. Yeah. He's an astronaut. He's a famous US astronaut. He's got a twin. They've done a bunch of studies on long-term exposure in space and
good science.
Oh, right. Well, they've been comparing the twins.
Yeah. They're both astronauts, but exactly. Having a twin is such a useful scientific thing. But essentially, he was talking about him going up there for 8 months or whatever with this other guy was the longest anyone had stayed in space. And his a whole big part of him going up was the effects of long-term space flight on human bodies. And they're and it's not just okay, let's go until it starts to hurt. It's let's go until it starts to hurt, and then let's see it's 2 months after that. Because he's because the body can adjust, or you can get ill,
get better,
and then your body will do something. And exactly. So they had to endure horrible shit, and he was up there for 8 months. These people were meant to be going up for 8 days, but now they are essentially going into the kind of space flight trip now that is going to see radical effects on their body. So this,
they may as well be the gerbil.
Oh,
That's
man,
what they're saying.
While they're
stuck up there in that cage.
I'm sure they're handling astronauts are just they're amazing
Different
at handling
breed,
anything. They're just super
doctors and nurses.
Yeah,
different.
So hopefully they're doing all right. But I'd be losing my fucking mind.
I think that would be a real testament to their mental stability. Because being stuck up there would be daunting.
Do you reckon the Wi-Fi is good?
Yeah,
maybe a satellite.
Yeah, you'll have your own satellite.
Would they be?
Although everybody be watching your traffic, you'd literally have a team of people whose job it was to monitor your traffic drop. Do you want that?
I could sneak a Steam Deck up there with a VPN, right?
Yeah. You think they're not going to notice that there's a VPN coming out of the ISS? There's literally teams of people that are monitoring everything about everything on the ground.
One of these devices is claiming they're from Romania.
It seems like Romania is now orbiting.
It goes dark from 8 till 10 p.m. every day, which is weird.
Weird. Romania's going at 26,000 miles an hour.
Romania's moving fast for a continent. Yeah. Fascinating stuff.
Yeah, well...
Do you see yourself going to space ever?
I don't.
Yeah.
No?
I would definitely
see myself going to space in terms of being able to actually feasibly go.
Would you want your ashes ejected into space upon death?
No.
My ashes don't
belong in space.
You hear how expensive it was just to fire them out of a cannon?
No, it came from Earth.
No.
Something that resembled life came from space.
It came from a meteorite.
Yeah, but not like that's like saying,
what, a firework?
It's time to go back is all I'm saying.
Put your ashes into a firework and light it.
No, I want to join the mycelial network.
Yeah, you do.
I think that might actually, be a form of an afterlife.
You want someone to crocodile clip some wires to you and then run you through an amplifier and you make nice little dulcet tones.
Yeah. And you flick a little bell of a mushroom somewhere in my forest and the whole forest lights up. The little
yeah, and they will spore you and then you get infected.
And then you
get
become
a chest burster,
part of my
and that's you
thing. And I come out, my face comes out of your chest.
Like
the Art Attack head.
Stored inside marbles.
What if we were stored inside marbles?
In a bag of marbles, you've been sprinkled within them. You're inside them. So then you can...
Or ashes or like
your ashes.
Body parts?
No, not body parts. Body parts wouldn't last.
Huh?
They might do.
If they're preserved in glass, they might.
There may be tiny, tiny square chunks of my body. Let's say I've been through that laser that's in Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Where it slices you into loads of...
Why don't they just start with that? That's what I want to know.
Well.
It really does.
Huh? That thing cuts so well.
It was a perfect laser.
Why didn't they just start with the grid?
I know. Why tease? Why tease with a little challenge? Yeah, because it starts with that one line and then it kind of rises up. It's like, okay, well, that's obviously going to get you. But then, it's just start with the grid anyway. If you're trying to actually deter people,
just grid them up. Start
with grid.
So
grid mode anyway.
I'm thinking 1 centimeter cubes.
Yeah, 1 centimeter
maybe
cubes
half
inside large marbles.
50 mil of Ross Hornby cubes.
And then you could probably sell them. Do you want to sell them? And they'll go towards...
So who's earning the money?
Well, it's not for me.
Because you're dead.
That's what I mean. Do you want to sell
for your family?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got 100,000 Ross cubed marbles.
Tiny cubes.
I think instead what I would do, I would start a small child's marble league where they have to use the marbles that you're in, and they'll never tell them that there's actually bits of you in it, and then you'll just be forever encased in a game of marbles for children play, and they won't ever know it's you. And it'll be you
know what? Your marbles will be left on the side where they're on their iPads.
They'll be forgotten.
Yeah.
Playing a 3D marble game.
I want my ashes to be scattered into a digital app instead.
You want to be put on the blockchain?
You want to be a crypto?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to be put on the blockchain.
Come on, one with crypto.
Shit. We lost the wallet. Ross is in.
That's on a hard drive somewhere in the skip.
Oh, man.
Damn it. It's just a chain of letters and numbers, though, right? So just recreate those, and then boom.
Yeah,
that's what our DNA is, right? Our DNA is like data storage. It's binary, it's like an advanced form of data storage.
Yeah,
because we were designed by an intelligence.
Prometheus.
We've definitely got Prometheus.
Here's a fact for you.
What?
More than 1 billion birds die each year after crashing into buildings.
Stupid birds.
Doesn't that sound...
They must be made by Boeing.
That's a lot of birds. Boeing birds.
Designed by Boeing.
I mean, I guess that's because of glass, right? Like glass doesn't really exist in the real world.
And it kind of shows the sky back to them. They're going to...
Poor fuckers.
Bound to slam into the side of a skyscraper.
Cats kill as many as well as that.
1 billion?
Cats can kill up to 1 billion in England alone. Check out the stats. Cats kill... Cats in the... Domestic cats in the UK...
Stats.
Shouldn't be legal.
Cats kill more than 25 million birds each year.
That's a lot less than 1 billion.
That's a lot, though.
But it's a lot.
It's a lot.
A billion's a lot, then.
If you're a cat owner, you probably have experienced a bird being dragged into your home.
I mean, if 1 billion are dying to glass and only 25 million dying to cats, maybe we should get rid of glass. Like, if I want to actually put my money where my mouth is and be like, I don't think cats should be allowed outside because they kill wildlife. At the same time, I should be like, we should probably reduce our glass usage because it's killing wildlife, right?
How many people do you think you could persuade on the streets with that?
To reduce their glass usage?
Yeah, let's say you've got the placard up.
Yeah.
Saying down with glass.
More walls.
Windowless rooms. Windowless rooms is your
It's going to be extremely difficult
to encourage.
Do you think it'd be easier to convince people to not adopt cats? Don't adopt cats.
The cats.
Kill shelters.
Well, it's more just like it's going to take a lot of explanation to the average person. This has to be global news for it to be like. It has to be a kind of oh shit, glass is causing.
Is that 1 billion
birds.
Globally?
I think so.
Yeah,
I don't think it's like
that was in the UK.
No,
I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, it's a bloodbath. We need to. Maybe we should educate birds instead.
Maybe, how would you do that? How would you
raise them around glass, socialize them with glass at a younger age?
I think you probably need a hierarchy of breeds, right? So the crows and the ravens can be the ones that are tall, and therefore they're the leaders of pigeons.
Yep.
Because obviously we all fucked up pigeons.
Yeah.
I feel quite bad for pigeons nowadays. I've talked about pigeons before.
Yeah, you have talked about pigeons before.
Yeah.
We talked about it on the podcast.
I don't think I've talked about it on the podcast.
Do you want to briefly tell people why you feel sad for pigeons?
So pigeons, or the subspecies of that became domesticated, is like the oldest domesticated bird ever. Like 5,000 years ago, I've got it here, we domesticated them in the Mesopotamian cuneiform, and also they're in Egyptian hieroglyphics and stuff.
We use them for travel or for messaging, right?
Messaging, just extremely obedient and really good for us. And in particular, they were really useful in World War I, sending messages to the front line and stuff. And then afterwards, since we got the radio and all that kind of thing, suddenly they're redundant, and there was a smear campaign against pigeons, I swear. A smear campaign to say that pigeons are scum, pigeons are a pest, and then everyone culturally hates pigeons. It's like, oh yeah, it's okay to kick a pigeon.
Oh yeah.
Who's saying that?
Yeah. No, I've heard that.
Who's saying it's okay to kick
before?
Who the fuck is okay?
I wondered where that come from, but yeah, kicking pigeons in the park.
Just treating pigeons like,
I know they called them the rats,
like shit.
The flying rats, whatever.
A pest.
But then, if anything,
in the 60s or so,
these pigeons are now free. That's a good thing.
Well, they're not free.
They're free to go.
No. This is the problem, right? They've been domesticated so hard, and they're so reliant on humans, but then they were kicked out to the curb, literally put on the streets. They can't even make their own nests properly. They make really bad nests, and then that's why you see them with like missing legs and things, because they just don't know how to reintegrate into nature, because they're stuck in the city or the town, and they've been bred out of living in the wild. But we've just literally shunned them out of our homes and left them on the streets.
Seagulls are everywhere too.
Yeah, we don't domesticate seagulls.
That's true. We could do.
I seriously think we should change the law on seagulls. We're not allowed to kill seagulls in the UK.
No.
Okay.
But like seagulls on the south coast of England especially have become like such a menace. Lyme Regis, you guys know Lyme Regis, right? I was down at Lyme Regis a couple of weeks ago. I haven't been there in years. Sat on the beach, very popular, lots of little kids. They've got to put umbrellas up, like little umbrellas.
I was there with popular with the kids down there.
I'm just
to get the sentence.
So my like 4-year-old niece, well, she's not 4 years old, but like
some context is
she had to. She's like 3 or 2, 2 or 3, I don't know. But like she had to sit with an umbrella over the top while she was eating something, because otherwise the seagulls would literally swoop in and take anything out of their hands.
They might even take her.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody has to use an umbrella when they eat on this beach now, because otherwise the seagulls will just...
It's just easy food for them, isn't it?
Yeah. And they've all learned, and now they've taught all the other seagulls in that area that you can get food like this, and now they all do it. And because there's no like bad result, apart from being scared off, there's just no downside to them. They just keep trying it. So like in some places, I think in certain airfields and stuff, they have people go around with falcons and hawks and things like that to like keep birds like this away. And I think they just need to start doing things like that, you know, like or maybe shotguns. But like, you know, I think
imagine that on the beach with kids making sandcastles and seagulls
you do it in like the off season.
I think you don't do it
like you think you should do it peak. Right, everybody, just so you know, it's going to be a fucking bloodbath. We've got 3 falcons
for the next hour. It's going to be insane. It's going to be like raining blood.
There's like falcon units flying above, and there's guys in the field,
drones and shit.
There's guys digging digging entrenchments on the field.
Again, I did link this back last week, but to midnight mass. With the cats on the beach. Imagine that for seagulls.
Yeah. That was fucking random. Great show that though.
Man, it's got everything in that show.
Apparently it's curved buildings. The curved surfaces rather than flat surfaces have been shown to have a greater number of bird collisions. But yeah, it's like we said, you know, they can't see the reflection of the glass, and they don't have the same visual cues differentiating glass from the open air. So they view it as either open skies or a potential habitat. So it's just another thing. Have you ever seen a bird print on glass?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it's quite pretty.
Seen it a couple of times. It's like, oh, well, what's this? That's weird. Oh, it's like
you look down.
It's feathers. You see the feathers like branched out and the head
full
twisted.
Speed.
Well, I think that happened once. Oh my god, I think it happened once. And my granddad then just picked the bird up snapped his neck and tossed it into a hedge because it obviously, really injured itself.
And that's
like they're just flapping around.
That's the humane thing to do, yeah.
Well, yeah, he just, oh no. Anyway.
Or take it to a basement, Dexter's lab that shit, and try and give it a new robotic head.
Oh, those are usually the two options. Yeah.
Okay. When autopsy or Frankenstein?
You can't kill a seagull, but you can augment it.
Okay. That's true. Experiment on it dangerously.
Yeah, but have you seen anyone fucking feeding seagulls? Because I think that's the main issue. There was a guy with a whole loaf of bread just scattering it around. Just like,
bread's so bad for birds and ducks, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, don't go to a pond and think, it's going to be so nice and whimsical to give some bread.
They love bread.
They'll eat anything, but it's really bad for them.
Why do they love bread so much, but it's really bad for them? What happens to them?
It's just bad diet for them, for one, and it blocks their
cloaca.
I don't think they're inhaling it through their cloaca.
They're doing
just
it wrong.
wanted to say the word cloaca.
But it's basically junk food for ducks. It's not good for them.
But we love junk food
seeds.
too. Seeds, but they don't float. Seeds are expensive. You bought a bag of seeds,
just don't feed ducks. It's okay.
Yeah, no, I
don't.
What
about rice?
They'll get their own.
Should we be throwing rice?
Don't throw rice.
What about pasta?
Pasta's
dry pasta.
If you could fill it with something as well,
like a ravioli,
like
twisties,
a ravioli,
prawn and
fill it with hoisin.
A duck, duck ravioli.
Yeah. You know what you're eating?
You're eating yourselves, and you don't even know it. Weird guy you'd be on the streets doing that.
It turns out feeding bread to ducks is not that good, especially if you turn up with a whole loaf.
Yeah, that guy just didn't seem to give a shit, and it's just like, why are you doing that? Same with people who just tossed some chips on the floor. I was like, go and have some of those. You're encouraging more of them. Chaos.
So Olympics 2024 porn site has offer for pole vaulter whose penis got him disqualified.
Yeah.
What's the offer?
Oh, the French Olympian.
Yeah, the French
who got a vertical strike
pole vaulter had a giant penis, and it smushed against the pole, which then...
How giant are we talking?
Well, it's just
Can you scroll down a bit?
It doesn't show you in this article.
Is it compared to the pole that he used?
It's just that his personal pole was chunky enough to catch on the main pole and pulled it down. Anyway, he's been offered $250,000.
Right. To do what?
For a porn website called Cam Soda. Have you heard of that one?
Just displaying his manhood on camera.
He doesn't know what that is.
Cam Soda.
But that's a lot of fucking money. I don't know what they want him to do on this.
Displaying his manhood.
That's what they want to do.
Just get his dick out.
Get it out.
Get your dick out for $250,000?
Yeah,
I reckon
I think so.
It would have to be Olympic themed as well. Like, there'd have to be a novelty.
There'd be like a medal hanging from it. Yeah. Someone comes in and hangs a medal.
But I feel like in the Olympics profession, I think that he'd probably struck off or something, wouldn't he? Or something.
Yeah, but is he ever going to earn $250,000 as a pole vaulter?
Probably not.
I can't imagine you can.
Not unless you're... Well, he might do now, but like as a kind of like a... Maybe he'll do underwear modelling.
What if he painted the end of his penis gold and then each of his bollocks silver and bronze?
So he's got his own
podium. His little medal set. Yeah.
Podium.
And he rests
I don't know, because obviously
I
guess it's like, well, would you then kind of like... Because what if he's got next Olympics to look forward to and he'd be known as the guy who shows his dick off? Like, would that be fine?
How much do Olympic
I think in this day and age,
win?
that's fine.
If you're not a medaler winner...
Yeah.
Do you earn anything from the Olympics?
Well, this is the thing, because obviously we met some Olympians a couple of years ago, didn't we?
We did. The BMXers.
BMXers. And I did wonder, I think there's like lottery funded kind of, I think they get lottery money. Not like, they don't get given like 2 million, but like they get...
Well, they were
a salary.
Do you reckon they have like a high jump jizz thing?
Sorry?
He jizzes and tries to get it over.
You think that's they set up like a pretend Olympic kind of
high jump,
and
he has to jizz over it.
Yeah, and then there's like a pole on the back that looks like the Mario one at the end where he's got to hit it for extra points. Are we setting up the porn Olympics?
I just don't think Cam Soda will go for it.
I think Cam Soda. I mean, they'll pay $250,000.
They seemingly want to go for
a bit of a dick pic, and it's just like, well. If it was one dick pic, would you do it? Hang on, no. They want a 60-minute webcam show in which you show off your goods minus the crossbar, of course. So what is he doing in that? Is he just like
he's just
flaunting it around? Is he just sausaging it around in his hands?
Yep. Low angle webcam.
Does he have to jerk
Logitech. Just real shitty.
Think he has to jerk it? Any jorking?
I don't think he has to do anything. It just has to show it for 60 minutes, and that's it.
Huh.
Snoop Dogg's apparently getting like over $100,000 a day to be at the Olympics, but for the US is paying them like $10 million to like basically just rep the US at the Olympics. He's just like their photo opportunity.
That's crazy.
That's so odd because the Olympics is already a massive thing. It's like, it feels like you don't need to publicize it with any celebrity necessarily.
Who's the actress that was photographed with him as well from the UK? Blonde hair.
Hayden Panettiere.
No, that's American.
That was what the fuck?
I don't know.
From?
No idea.
The cheerleader from
Martha Stewart.
Martha Stewart.
Well. Are we paying
Martha
her
Stewart.
that amount?
Maybe.
Martha Stewart's not English. Martha Stewart is American.
Oh, is she American?
Yeah.
Never mind then.
But they've been on like roasts together. Not
Never
making
mind.
food.
Are they,
which you might
are they getting
assume.
equal pay is what I'm saying from the US now?
Probably not. I mean, Martha Stewart, I think, is incredibly successful in her own right, isn't she? I mean, she had her own restaurant.
She's like
and
a billionaire,
hotel
isn't she?
in
Martha Stewart. Maybe she paid her own
I thought
way
she was
then.
like really wealthy.
Yeah, I don't think she.
I
needs
really
help.
don't know who she is.
She's probably still getting paid, but like, yeah, I can't imagine she needs it.
How's this story though? This was
Right.
nuclear power based. And it said mayonnaise may unlock never unstable nuclear fusion.
Okay.
It says although mayonnaise typically behaves as a solid, when subjected to a pressure gradient, it begins to flow in a manner similar to plasma under comparable conditions.
Can you imagine if the huge breakthrough of nuclear fusion
was
is mayonnaise? Hellmans are going to be rubbing their
Hellmans
hands.
would be like, wait, what?
So you fucking
We
serious?
have got the ticket, and they're going to
Mayo.
And I imagine it's something they need a lot of, like a shitload.
What's weird though, like what I can't really get my head around here is mayonnaise is like a combination of a few basic
Oil and
things,
egg.
right? Yeah, it's oil, eggs, and a little bit of something else. Like, surely they can just isolate whatever. You would have thought it would be the oil, right? That would behave in that manner. Maybe the eggs help it behave in that manner as well, but they're saying it turns into a plasma-like substance. What? I cannot believe that, it requires mustard powder for this to
It's
work.
mustard and vinegar as well.
I think it's just about that. Yeah, it says here that by using mayonnaise, researchers could investigate the instability without the need for
What website
extreme
you on there,
temperatures
Ross?
and pressures. This is interestingengineering.com.
This is one I read off the other day as well.
So it means that it's difficult to get extreme temperatures and pressures, and that's bypassing that somehow.
You can't dip chips in plasma though, can you?
We could try. You could
Just
dip chips
imagine
in
though if our
anything you
nuclear
want, really.
power was also tasty and a sauce.
I think that would prove that
I think I wouldn't eat
life
it.
is a joke. I'd just be like, come on.
There's chocolate
doesn't
sauce
that-
in this container and mayonnaise in the other, and we got nuclear fusion. What? Sorry, excuse me, what?
I think it needs
And
to happen
that's
more.
nuclear fusion. Nutella in that room. Whoa, okay. Wow. Yeah, that's beyond
Okay,
me.
so mayo's our future of power.
Mayo, yeah. lots
Never
of
saw
mayo.
that coming.
That's fair enough. But did
Ew,
you
that's
see
Seagulls.
Beetlejuice 2 being first shown on Roblox? I thought Fortnite was the thing.
What's that?
But now you can buy tickets in Roblox to watch the real life movie, but in the game.
Which movie?
Beetlejuice 2,
You
which
know the
is-
thing that all the kids are excited
Yeah.
for? The second film of a film. that
1980s
was- yeah, that we
famous
barely
1980s
remember.
film,
And they're like, yeah,
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
This
Like,
sounds
why do you all
like-
care about this?
This sounds like a kind of late millennial, early boomer executive.
Yeah.
That's like,
Let's get this in Roblox.
they got a nephew that's obsessed with
Yeah.
Roblox.
He
And they're
loves
like,
Roblox.
I've got a savvy marketing strategy here.
I think so, yeah. I think that's literally
My kid told me that Travis Scott was in Fortnite. I reckon Beetlejuice 2 is not doing very well with the younger generation. Let's put it in Roblox. Whee!
Are there any games growing up where you would be like, I want to watch a film in this game? Would you, in GTA, do you think you would have GTA San Andreas? You're like, no, I'm going to go to the cinema.
I mean, in
and
World of
actually
War,
watch a film.
if World of Warcraft back in the day, when like I was
so.
playing World of Warcraft full time, they're like, "There's going to be a WoW movie and they're going to show it in game. Would you watch it in game?" I would totally have watched it in game. Yeah,
They
It's
should have
like-
done that.
I know, right?
That's
But-
dumb that they
That's
did.
interesting.
But,
That's a
the thing
missed
is, I think a
opportunity.
lot of the time I'm like these like exactly this kind of IP, which is based on something that I don't even have a memory of as a child.
Beetlejuice.
Like,
Yeah.
that makes less sense to me. But I do think how
Maybe it's really big in America.
yeah. Well, because also these places are social spaces, right? For a lot of people, these games are social spaces. They're not games.
Yeah.
So like, really, it's like meeting at the mall or meeting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know it is.
The
silly,
format
I-
makes
but-
it's not so crazy
Yeah.
that format is something that
Yeah.
exists. Obviously,
And
Fortnite
people-
have done it now with like gigs and stuff, right?
yeah.
Yeah. People get the same level of gratification being in that social environment online as they do in person. Maybe because they're so used to it and it's the norm nowadays
Yeah.
to be online all the time.
I think they do.
They think.
I think you can get a huge amount of it. Yeah, I think you can get most of the social experience from online, definitely.
And we're all watching this one thing at the same time.
Yeah, I think that there's a subconscious emotive language that goes on when you're physically in the room with people that is hard to emulate online, and I think that's the only thing you kind of miss out
front
on.
Crushing.
A good what?
You can't do a good crush.
Crush
like
of
a
what?
crowd crush.
Yeah.
In digital space.
There's a lot more exciting risk in large crowds.
Like when there's so many people, they become non-Newtonian fluid.
Yeah, and then they become plasma, and then we're all mayonnaise.
And then we're all mayonnaise and we're generating power.
Yeah, and we create nuclear fusion.
For the bots.
And our party becomes the battery for the world. This sounds like a 90s music video, but
very short one.
We're a crowd. We're all we're all Samantha Mumba fans in the crowd, and we're all
Samantha Mumba. What a reference! I found it, one song I think she did.
We're all in the crowd dancing together, and then we get to a moment where we all suddenly turn into a plasma. Nuclear fusion. There's some really goofy scientists in the back of the crowd that have got some like cartoonish measure, and they're like, "Whoa, Mumba's music has made everyone into nuclear fusion." And then it zooms out to the Earth, and everyone's like, "Yay!" And then they all drink a Pepsi, and then everyone's happy, and the music video ends.
Course.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the latest Kurtz Gazette about AI?
No,
super intelligence.
What's it saying?
Is it good?
About AGI.
Yeah.
It's
positive or negative?
It's both. They flip flop.
Yeah.
Between the potentials because no one can really predict. That was an ant just running up my arm there.
Oh shit! Where there's one, there's many. Get the flamethrowers.
That's worrying.
But yeah, it was about where the state of AI is right now, and I've been listening to a few things about AI, like The Guardian did a big focus on AI, for example, about whether it's a bubble about to burst and whether that actually matters, whether if businesses go out of business because of making AI,
it doesn't
the
matter.
Large language model still...
Exactly, the technological progress
is that good or bad for... Like, we can't go back on that progress now. Essentially, it's out there. But the other thing is, can we break into the next level of general intelligence, which is... Even with open ChatGPT and Cloud and all that, Gemini, they are becoming more what's considered, wow, they're responding in very contextual ways. It's still a very narrow focus intelligence. Like they're good at one thing. But when you can be like a human and take context and be like, adapt, think of a new way to, reason things that's outside of, just figuring out the next word in a sentence, that's when it could be a huge deal, like a massive, pivotal moment as to whether the general intelligence chooses humans to.
So is this the idea of once it starts thinking around a task rather than just solving the task? Is that what you're saying?
It can generalize intelligence.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's either the fear or the optimism. The optimism is it can really enhance lots of things of all the problems that all these collective minds that can do in our short lifespans, AI can solve in 30 seconds because of just, it can think really wide and very fast about how to cure cancer, how to solve the economic crisis, how to make sure everyone can eat properly.
Yeah, I think it's be awesome.
Humans are actually really bad for climate, so maybe we should have less humans.
Well, I mean, what's always interesting is when people or systems suggest change to those who are powerful, and they go, actually, we don't want this, right? So it's like when ExxonMobil commissioned the climate study in the 1970s, and they found out that emissions were fueling climate change, and they decided to not talk about that.
Did a big old smear.
Yeah, if an AI comes along and goes, oh fuck, well hold on, why don't you guys all just refuse to accept the existence of billionaires? You all go into the banking and finance infrastructure and go, yo, let's physically move this money around, let's redistribute it, let's put it into a national fund which goes into infrastructure projects or something like that, right? But then obviously the people with the money and the power go, I don't want what that thing's suggesting. Because normally with us, with people, you can make arguments political or emotional or sociological, right? So if a person wants something to change, politically, you can then start to try and break it down in other ways. It's like, but you're impinging on my freedom. Oh, you're stopping the potential for other people to be like me. This is draconian. This is socialist. This is communist. AI doesn't care about that. If everyone accepts that AI is like, this is a smart thing, this is a thing that's taking all the data.
It's incredibly sophisticated predictive text.
Yeah.
It's essentially what it is.
And if we can physically prove that something is inherently unbiased, I mean, that might become the whole thing where you're desperately trying to prove your AI is actually trustworthy, perhaps. That becomes the entire challenge.
What is trust when it comes to
exactly.
a large language model?
Well, because that becomes,
I think most people just trust whatever's in front of them.
Yeah, but that becomes doctrine in and of itself, right? You trust technology. You trust that your phone won't explode in your pocket today. You trust like that things have been built or designed in a certain way, and that is doctrine, right? That's your way of thinking. Yeah. Some people don't have that. Some people are so obsessed with privacy that they are literally building systems that live outside of all of this tech infrastructure we're building, because then you can exist outside of it. You know, like a closed Starlink.
There's some caveats, obviously, to how AI is like money's being poured into it, but it's not really hitting consumers in the way they want it to. Like, no money's been made.
No,
really. No. They're just pouring loads and loads of money in. And someone, I think it was the Guardian person again that's been researching this, says that there's a disconnect between, like, you know, back when computers came around, from, you know, papers and blueprints and that sort of thing, there has to be a level of training to just even onboard you to the concept of using a mouse.
Right.
This is so alien to this.
Yeah.
AI is in that state right now where you almost need training in order to be able to get a decent output from AI. You can't just ask it questions like you can a search engine. You have to like prompt it in a certain way. Mm-hmm. And you have to learn its skill set to do so. And I think that's a barrier to entry to actually having general AI in everything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of it you can just text it, though.
What do you think of the child safety elements of that in terms of, like, imagine your a parent didn't want to talk about a certain, or didn't want to expose you to something, and they just turn on fucking ChatGPT and ask it all the questions that your parents shy away from.
Yeah, I mean, you can Google
what if kids build up...
Google that now and get an awful answer from someone on Quora.
Precisely, exactly.
But
like, if AI, because you can chat to AI in quite a casual manner now.
Yeah, it feels more trustworthy and authentic.
People grow up with it as a friend and like actually treat it like someone. I don't know. Obviously, as more and more services become available, it does things for you. Because I ordered this thing for you, and just because you said you wanted it. Imagine that like a relationship building with a fucking
the contextual AI. Element is a great like smoke and mirrors.
Yeah,
there's loads of just going into that. So in I think. I don't want to say in Japan. I've never been there. I've watched documentaries about things like this, but I know that Japan, it's popular, is a form of kind of like an app where you have a girlfriend on your, like a virtual girlfriend on your, like maybe on your DS, or it might be on your phone. But there's a lot of people that are choosing to have like relationships basically with these app generated partners rather than...
It's a crisis in Japan.
Yeah.
So is it really that big, is it?
Well, I don't know if it's crisis.
Some people look for companionship anyway, and that once something talks back to you in a more realistic manner, if you choose to accept it as is.
But yeah, like looking at the dialogue of how people react to talking about AI, and a lot of it is like, AI can't even solve my math problem, blah, blah, blah. Again, this is all down to the way it's presented to people and the way they interact with it. There's a disconnect there. That it needs training. Like, it needs very specific prompts in order to get an actual useful outcome. And I think people are thinking too short term with AI as well. Like, this is the dumbest it's ever going to be.
We've had forms of AI for many years.
Yeah,
it's just not been like hyped up in
AI's
such a
become like a
catch-all term.
Now. AI's been since the 70s.
Yeah.
Ever since we were able to like make algorithms and make a computer do a thing by itself and come up with a solution. So, it's just the large language model is the new it thing, but I don't think that's going to be the last it thing.
Well, it would be nice to see the next step on from large language models, because they're incredibly impressive. And if what we have as AI stops right now at large language models, it's still an amazing leap.
It is,
and it's been awesome to see something like that happen. I hope we see many more amazing technological leaps in our lifetimes. But it will be interesting to see. I think what you were saying, what everyone is saying, I think will happen. Is the thing. Like, what's going to be interesting to see how we navigate through all of this.
Society is not prepared for like the inevitable general intelligence thing.
Yeah.
Like, we are not set up economically, societal wise, we are not prepared for something.
It's just shit like, hey, could you recommend me a bunch of good stocks? You know, like, if we can genuinely make, and I know that's the big leap and the big challenge here is to genuinely make these things smart, right? Like you say, and make them generalists, make them able to do many things. But once we do achieve that, and I think seemingly we will achieve that within the next decade, like, it's going to be so powerful. Like, what the hell are we going to... It's going to be like when the internet started to become... You know, Google started to become a thing for universities and, like, having to take on the internet in a university where people could now look up so much stuff, give them... It's so empowering. Like, these tools are going to be so empowering for so many things. And I do think, like, money is going to become an issue quite quickly. I think they're going to affect money very fast.
Yeah.
And so...
Well, it's affecting money in the sense that it costs a lot to even create a large language model.
But I think it's going to empower users to do incredibly disruptive things.
Yeah.
And so
whilst it's still open source and you know, accessible to everybody. Yeah.
I guarantee you there are like cartels out there right now running AI scams that are making money.
Absolutely.
Like,
it's a new tool to do amazing scams with.
Exactly. So like
you can fool people into thinking you're a real person and therefore convince them of certain things.
And governments using them to inspire people into rioting in other countries.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's another tool, and with a powerful tool comes grifting and scam artists leveraging it over other people. You're always going to get that.
Yeah.
We just have to be on top of being able to, you know, educate people and
be responsible,
not be scammed.
It's like being a responsible gun owner as well, to be honest with you. Like, as in, like, eventually, you know, when you're that empowered with such a powerful thing, you need to be responsible. But there's not enough responsibility for technological use preached in our country.
There's not enough knowledge
at all
at the top. Like, governments don't really know what the fuck they're doing.
No.
So like they can probably get away with a lot before the governments realize, oh, you shouldn't be doing this entire time or whatever.
We literally need ethical use of technology built into our curriculum, right? Like, imagine if you said to people like, yo, maybe don't dispose of batteries constantly. If you can, maybe try and get them recycled. Maybe don't fly drones in public spaces where they might injure people. You know, maybe don't use AI to scam people. Don't use fake filters to catfish people. You know, like, all these things are incredibly disruptive to our social fabric.
And it's not just don't do this, do this.
Yeah.
These are the consequences of why we don't do this.
Exactly. Yeah. And here's how we integrate this into history lessons regarding how election interference works now and how it's empowered through technology.
Like, stop locking your teacher in the history cupboard.
Yeah.
It's time to listen. Let's make this more exciting for kids.
Yeah.
Once we finally have contacts that have heads-up displays, and show us alternate realities.
Don't need teachers.
Would you use a face filter to make yourself look 25 years younger? So that everyone else who sees you, you look handsome and young, but actually you're old and decrepit.
I think I'd go full VTuber.
Yeah. You'd go cartoon. I'd go anime character.
Yeah. Why be a human when you...
Yeah. But I think that's freakier when you walk around the streets and you're seeing people's faces like... that sounds trippy as fuck.
As long as we
imagine having acid trip and putting these things on, everyone's got their own fucking avatar.
This Ghost in the Shell.
Nuts as shit.
That's what it is.
Obviously, you could do that now and just put the VR chat on, wherever it is, but still.
I think that sort of stuff is happening.
Yeah.
And whether we can get the chipsets and the technology small enough for it to be like, this isn't bad to wear. As soon as that tipping point is reached and everyone's like, it's okay to have a smartphone in your pocket, it's okay to wear these things on your face, that will become the norm very quickly, I think.
Yeah, it's about social...
and then I'll be a YouTuber with massive norks.
Giant norks.
I'm more than happy for AI to take over, like, my job right now, as long as I get the money for it.
Oh, right, I see, yes. But what if the AI learns that it doesn't need money and therefore just turns off monetization?
Well, exactly. It doesn't need money. I keep the power on. It's happy. You know?
It doesn't fall victim to human.
What if it starts thinking on its own, guys? That's the real
But
worry.
it will. I think that we need to just keep accepting that, like, it is thinking on its own because we allowed it to think on its own and we keep the lights on. Like, there's not going to be an ethical quandary here unless we make it.
Have you played the game Destiny?
I have played the game Destiny.
First Destiny.
Either.
Right.
Basically, there's a super intelligence in the form of the Traveler.
Yeah.
Comes to the planet and really helps them out with technology and stuff. All we got to do is send our general intelligence to the moon, right? And it's our overseer, and it's just we reach out to it like a god, and it's like, tell us, please, give us these laws.
Trott, that is AI Doomsday War 101. You let the AI go off somewhere quiet and work on its own for a bit, and lo and behold, what's coming from the dark side of the moon? The dark side of the moon seems to be moving, sir. No, that's not the dark side of the moon.
We've left it to think.
We kept the AI.
That's a regular 3D printed AI battle unit, and it's just this huge moon monster. And it just jumps off the surface of the moon and just bridges the gap like a fucking Olympian. Oh my god.
So look forward to that and be prepared is all I'm saying. That's going to happen. I'll give you one more AI fact. So I appreciate it's a very polarizing thing to talk about. They've almost ran out of things to scrape off the internet to train a large language model.
You better start posting some more stuff.
How?
Ross.
I thought like millions, like so much content is posted on the internet for it to. Is it keeping up?
Thing. No, they keep up, and because they have so much training going on, it can do it obviously faster than people post it.
Isn't that like a lifetime an hour or something
that's
like
impressive.
that?
No, it's insane. Either way, they're running out so much so that it's hard to be competitive. So if you were to start up a new large language model now, A, there's a chipset shortage. It's all gone to the other big ones. And B, there's not enough data left to have a genuine difference. Right. So you know what's happening now?
What?
They're using AI to generate synthetic information, which then trains another AI.
Oh God!
Yeah, but that's going to create just this mangled mess.
It's like inbred. It's like inbreeding.
It feels like inbreeding. Yeah.
That's what's happening.
It's adding extra fingers. Then, yeah, that's.
It's inbreeding.
Is that
data.
helpful though? Is that
apparently it's helpful in the ways that like I'm sure if you were to look at the internet and if you were to see like it as a desktop wallpaper, the file structure and everything would be a fucking astronomical mess. Yeah. It'd be a shit show. Whereas I assume synthetic AI is they're generating very bespoke sets of data, which is easy to pass to an AI.
That's weird though, because like if you think of it in the image form,
that makes sense.
Like the images that it's already created always look a bit warped and like kind of there's something off with them.
There's
something smooth about them.
Generation.
That specific image generation. But if they use those as reference points, then you'd get even more of a warp. It would end up just looking like a blob. Like if you keep going infinite cycles of it, you'd end up just having this color because it just would look messed up.
I don't think they're training it on AI images in that way. Yeah. I think it's data, but
I guess eventually, surely it won't tell the difference because when some fucker posts it as their own, that gets registered as not AI. Because you know now on YouTube and stuff when you have to tick and say whether it's AI generated. Yeah. And I imagine a lot of people are like, no, I did it myself. I put in the keywords.
I'm a prompter.
So it's just like, prompters. That is a prompter. Fucking hell. I've never heard someone say it. But I imagine they've got a shit-eating grin after they say it as well. I'm really good at prompting.
This is literally like big jobs now.
What, prompters?
Yeah, I think one got hired in Bristol. Lloyd's Bank in Bristol was hiring one for $300,000 a year.
Oh my god!
An AI like prompt integration expert or something they were calling it. Essentially, learning how to communicate with an AI.
This is what I'm talking about.
I mean, I said this 6 months ago. I was like, guys, like the big jobs here are not going to be coders. They're going to be people that know how to interact with AI.
With something that makes code for you.
Yeah. That is what's going to happen.
Know how to ask it nicely.
Yeah,
that's literally.
Sure, there'll be eventually a language model that deciphers that in itself, and then you go actually just grass, bird, fly. And
it's a finite resource, much like early internet, where people were getting scammed out of the nines for just because they didn't understand basic things, and so you had the in-betweens that like I can make a website very quickly. Now there's services where you can just go online and make a website in 3 steps. There was an in-between where there were jobs where you could be very lucrative just knowing how the internet works and teaching that to someone else. Yeah. Or doing it for them.
And the thing is, like you when you're working in a field like that, you understand that you need to morph into other jobs, right? Because like how like
you got to adapt.
Because your job will disappear if you don't. Yeah, and I think most people going into those fields now appreciate that. Like so, but interesting
sucks,
times,
right? Yeah, I mean. The whole creative side of it, I'm very much in favor of. It fucking sucks that we're losing a lot of humanity and people are losing jobs because AI is just being used because it's easier. And
I would argue that most of the jobs that are being lost through AI do seem to be like the grunt work jobs in big studios though, right? So like where people are having to smash out lots of content rather than like, I don't see a lot of bespoke artists, but artists that do like commissions and things like that losing out to AI personally, because I think people can tell what AI is a lot of the time as well.
Yeah.
But
that's getting better.
I could see how when you integrate into a company that's like got 10,000 staff in it and you go, hey, like 600 of those particular artists who do this thing can be replaced with AI. I think that's where you're seeing huge job losses, right? Like they are causing big job losses. I'm just wondering what form that takes, if you know what I mean. Because I mean, Disney have had huge job cuts in the past when they've gone from different production techniques, right? When they've gone from
VFX
hand
houses,
drawing. Yeah, they fail
destroy
yearly.
those.
Yeah,
they like hire them for one thing and then make them work to the nines and then pay.
The Life
of
Pi VFX studio won the Oscar or something for VFX, and then they went out of business because they couldn't afford to keep going.
It's not a good business practice right now, anyway. But it's There's obviously, again, there's people that are using it for nefarious and illegitimate means, and also people that are trying to claim to be artists and are throwing out loads of crap out there just to earn a quick buck. That's inevitable, and it's going to happen, and we need tools to counter
also
it.
We need a culture of people who are willing to not pay artists. Like we do creative projects a lot where we pay artists to do individual commissions.
Doing it right now.
Yeah, so like that is really the way to do this, is like keep paying artists to do artist stuff and don't just go, oh, we can save 100 quid here a month. Like if your business can't afford to pay artists, frankly, I think that you're not a great business. Like if you rely on that kind of thing, right? Like it is shit that we will eventually get to that point. Yeah, everyone, because obviously loads of businesses could thrive on the lowest common denominator format, Greg's. We will get shit companies using AI to create shit media. Don't shop at those companies, don't use companies that still value people. Like,
it wasn't that long ago when people were accusing just people using like Photoshop as cheating.
Yeah. That's very true. That's
so
very
like
true.
Now there's different tools, but these ones you just create the entire piece and then you go, there, it's done.
Yeah.
I mean, how granular
it's
do you want to
tempting.
get?
I can see for somebody
content-aware fill, like that's AI based. Like, is that cheating? Is even using an iPad versus analog means, is that
idea inception is the point here?
I think that's it. Yeah,
it
having the
from
idea,
the
making it from
that's what's important.
Because you can use tools to tidy up your idea, but ultimately that spark is what you pay the artist for.
Yeah.
You might say the same about using samples in music, but then obviously you can transform that into something very different.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's all different forms of art, but
it can be a whole podcast in and of itself.
It really could.
And we are not experts in any way, but we like to touch on these topics now and again, much like aliens. So
we're
worried.
There are several governments around the world that almost certainly have recovered crafts and bodies.
Who's this coming from?
Everywhere.
No, who's that information coming from?
Facebook.
Okay.
No, it's not coming from Facebook. But it might as well be. Like whenever
you're just getting up to date information every week. I just want to know where you're sourcing it.
Just fucking Reddit, mate. I'm just on the UFO subreddit sometimes.
And I UFO subreddit.
And like again, it might all be bollocks. I think we all appreciate that. But honestly, I'm at the point where I honestly think that we've recovered vehicles and bodies. That's actually where I'm at. That's fun. People might enjoy watching my mental decline. Who knows?
What's his fate? Laslan.
Huh?
That's a line from.
No, I do honestly. I think that it's really crazy, but like I really do now think that like we are living in a like busy universe, and I
really feel like we're gonna have a huge technological breakthrough right as another huge like aliens are real thing, and it's like, wait, fucking hell, we're just dealing with this thing right now. We can't have this and aliens at the same time.
This is how
Can you guys just hold off the invasion for a sec?
No, it's all happening. Climate change is happening. Pandemics will keep happening. Like, this isn't the end times. I'm not some sort of Christian preacher that's like, it's all going to happen. But like, all this stuff will keep happening. It will speed up. It's exciting. We need to make sure we weather it and come out better and not nuke each other. Please don't nuke each other. That would be a real pain in the ass for human advancement.
The alien thing, though, I think when you zoom out when you see that shot and you zoom out of the planet and you see how like
tiny we are,
how tiny and insignificant we are, and like there's these every star you see in the sky has these little planets around it. You don't even see them because of how bright their stars are. It could be but like I just think that we're moving like. We think we're moving really slowly, but we're just spinning ball. It's all just
hurtling through space.
So, like the fact that we're syncing with any other planet would be incredible. But I mean,
you're saying how
unlikely it is.
Unlikely it is, right?
Unlikely it is. You think there's any
contact with these? Just any physical contact? Yeah. Because I just think that everything's just so fucking far apart. Like
our conditions are perfect as well.
Yeah, but that's based on our sublight propulsion.
Yeah.
I think that physics is wacky enough that we could definitely overcome.
There could be ways, folding space.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're proving that. Like, again, amazing science is happening every year in many, many different fields. I think is just showing us just the crazy, crazy physical shit we do not understand.
I'm a little concerned Craig is getting a little too good at Unreal Engine as well, and he might actually create a universe of his own soon.
Yeah.
So there is that worry of us falling into a new universe, Unreal, and not knowing.
We could live in it.
We could live in Craig's little worlds.
I mean, I think that is the most likely other thing, is that like being a human being is some form of experience or simulation. Like that.
That's the other one, isn't it?
That's the other big thing in my head where I'm like, either that or we're completely insignificant. And that was something that I lived with for a long time. The idea that like, and we are still insignificant 100%. Like the idea that you are no more valuable, no more complex, and no more relevant than a flower, right? You grow, a flower grows, it's pretty for a while, it does its thing, it pollinates, then it rots into the ground and it continues the cycle of life within, you know, our beautiful Earth's amazing natural processes. And I'm like, we're just part of that. And honestly, that is the most logical.
That makes sense.
The most logical thing is we're just
when you look at, because I mean, look at ants and the way they work and like crazy little ant hills and stuff. Like, sorry?
Flowers and ants didn't make drones. Flowers and ants didn't make spaceships.
Flower and ants didn't come up with philosophy.
Each creature seems to do these crazy things, and it's just like, it is impressive, and we're just doing our crazy thing. But like, we are also just destroying the planet at the same time.
But we're also conscious.
Part of it.
We're also like that. There's so many other things about
those animals. Could be.
Human.
We just don't know how to perceive it.
Unfortunately for them. I mean, what really worries me is that there's stuff above us somewhere.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, like because we treat things, the world, life, and everything as we should really, like natural order. You know, like how like I always struggle with the idea of being an omnivorous person, about killing animals, like that I see intelligence and I see nice things in, you know, things where I'm like,
especially when they're other people's dogs and stuff.
Yeah, especially when they're other people's dogs.
Jesus.
But like, you know, but equally I'm like, that is the natural order of things. Human beings evolved as omnivores, you know, like it's
a natural order for us to survive, is in like our instinctual survival. However, when we get to a point where we're technologically advanced enough to survive through other means, when does it become cruelty across the board? Like when they now can print meat or whatever.
Yeah, I'm looking
using
forward to that.
Stem cells, whatever.
Well, because the other thing is it doesn't produce anywhere near as much greenhouse gases. Well,
there's a knock-on effect, which is a positive thing. It's like we're able to use our knowledge to not just be dum-dums in a cave smashing rocks on animals' heads. Like we don't have to do that. And so to get to that point would be amazing. And like especially if we were like, we all enjoy this you know, grown meat or whatever, and it's like we're not missing out on the protein, we're not missing out on these other things, and look, there's a pig there. He's in our home. He's our friend now.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's pretty cool.
That would be awesome.
Obviously, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
How smart we consider ourselves now, we still have to cater to our human biology and our needs and our drives and our things that haven't changed.
That's what makes the AI so advanced in that sense, because they don't have
it's like
natural.
But that's so aspirational. What's great about that mindset with this technology and things like AI coming in is you have to have that aspirational, like, being the best we can be, becoming as advanced as we can be. We got this like one chance, you know, and obviously human beings are a legacy of generations, but like, it's nice to have that aspiration. Yeah,
because there's a rule set that we can develop and change ourselves with intelligence.
Yeah.
You know, we haven't written a list of rules and said we have to stick with these for thousands of years, like the commandments or whatever. It's like, well, we have to have guns, guys.
Yeah, as much as
it says it on this thing we wrote
us
thousands of years ago or whatever. Like, we can grow and change. I think that's what's good about it.
Indeed.
And that's what technology can help with.
We're going to have to be with the AI overlords.
That's true.
Yeah, that's it.
Because they're going to be adapting.
They have no emotions.
Radically.
They will have no emotions, guys.
And then they'll be able to suggest how we change as well, which is fun.
What if, right? Wacky analogy. We always think that they're these cold-hearted, emotionless AI super beings. What if it turns out the actual super intelligence is like really like emotive? And it's like constantly crying because that's super efficient somehow.
Well, as long as it wasn't angry and volatile.
Sorry, guys.
It's just
guys. I'm
trying to make it best for everyone.
Yeah. What if it did the what's it called, the Doctor Strange check every reality thing, and it goes, I can't work out a way to help you guys, so I'm just going to stay quiet.
Yeah.
Everything I do ends in you guys nuking yourselves. So it's been great. Thanks for building me. I'm just going to stay quiet.
Yeah.
That would be.
Good luck.
That would be a really interesting fucking philosophical like thing to explain. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like Hitchhiker's Guide, isn't it?
Yeah.
With that super intelligence they were waiting on for ages, and the answer was 42.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
It is very much like that. Yeah, you're right.
Anyway, that's enough of that for today. But hey, I hope you adapt and grow with us.
Yes.
As our valued listeners for Hat Chat. In particular, on a huge
If they get too smart, they might not listen anymore.
Don't get too smart. Stay a little bit under our intelligence so you have something to learn.
It's a nice feeling.
You can be stupid with us.
Yeah, be stupid with us. And support us if you'd like, if you enjoy this sort of thing. Huge shout out to our members, our Patreons, our supporters of any kind. You all gain access to the ad-free version of Hat Chat. Thank you very much. I hope that's helpful. And also to the people that provide us, a little burpee, Bingles, at the start. Amazing. Send them to our email, hatchat@hat-films.com, like Macca's did. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
And enjoy the whole thing at the end here. And obviously, everybody that supports us on Patreon is credited at the end of this video. So thank you very much.
What could they be doing next Saturday, Trott?
Oh, next Saturday is a huge day because our members are all going to gather together with their little ticket. And the ticket is literally just being a member, by the way.
Indeed, yeah.
Or a Patreon supporter or a Twitch subscriber. And you get to watch a whole fun day of frolics on August 17th for Hat-A-Day Live.
That's right.
That's right. Lots of different shows, lots of different segments of cool things, from games to cooking to Olympics to green screen shenanigans. It's all going to be there on Hat-A-Day Live. Please be a member. And if you're a member in that month, you already got a ticket.
Yep.
So come along Saturday, August 17th. We'll see you there. Anyway, that's it for Hat Chat. We'll see you next week.
Bye for now.
Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.